Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, face masks and other forms of PPE have become a vital tool when protecting ourselves and other people from coronavirus infection. But of the 58.8 million face masks that are used each day in the UK, just 10% are reused, and 90% are discarded after one use. In Cardiff, some of this waste can be taken in directly by companies such as TCG, whose pioneering new technology can repurpose these materials into new products. But when PPE is discarded onto the streets of Cardiff, it is left up to one of the city's many litter picking groups to clear this waste away. One of these volunteers is Dave King, MBE, who has spent more than a decade cleaning the streets and rivers of Cardiff.
The reason I do it, where I live, we look over the Taff, and I saw an awful lot of rubbish coming down the river, which was horrendous. So I thought I'd try and get involved and do something about it. And since then it's frankly taken over my life. So now I'm effectively a full-time volunteer with various groups, including Keep Range Stand Tidy, which a few of us started about 5 years ago to really sort of tackle the streets around here. We thought we were making progress. During lockdown, there was less litter around, and then suddenly there's a real upsurge, particularly after the last lockdown finished, in gas canisters, nitrous oxide, and of course then PPE as well. So still an awful lot of litter, but it's definitely changed over that time.
Everywhere we go, there's face masks. Sometimes I can just walk down, I live in Canton, walk down the street and you see 5, 6, 7, 8 all along the way, and it drives me mad. I think in some cases, yes, it's a mistake, they pulled it out of their pocket, but a lot of time, no, they've punched it up. And I think these could be germ-ridden, all this stuff, and the people who do care, I'm sure, look after their masks and their gloves, and then you've got, again, the people who don't care.
All the PPE is plastic-based. So there's face masks, the gloves, and also wet wipes as well, which people are using. They're trying to wipe their hands more. So much of that is then just discarded onto the streets. The problem with that then is it will get into the watercourses through the stormwater drains, or just blows into the river, and then it's a threat then to certainly marine life, but also then bird life as well. We have seen a seagull basically think that a glove was food and eat it. Yeah, it's just ridiculous, really, and avoidable. I think that's the biggest thing with all of it, is it is all completely avoidable. Just put it in a bin.
But when PPE litter and other rubbish is not put in a bin, and it eventually does end up in Cardiff's rivers and streams, it is up to another litter picking initiative called Cardiff Rivers Group to clear this waste away.
We're down in Cardiff Bay this morning at what we call Doctor Who Beach, which is by where the Doctor Who Experience used to be, and it's always blighted like this with plastic and other rubbish. It comes down the Taff and the Ely and basically just washes into the bay, and then the currents bring it to points like this, where we come probably once or twice a year and clear it up, and we just get absolutely tons of stuff out of here. You may have noticed I'm dressed slightly differently to most people, and this is because there's a campaign now which has been run by Keep Wales Tidy, which we work closely with, called Treasure Your Rivers, and the idea is to basically look after rivers, but also we're trying to find the most unusual things that have been washed down. We find everything in the rivers, what you might expect, things like trolleys, loads of plastic bottles. But we found safes, we found, on one occasion, a murder weapon, but let's leave that. I mean, masks we find all over the place now. Quite why people think it's a great idea that, oh, I need to wear this protective stuff because there's this highly contagious disease. Oh, finish with it now, I'll just throw it away on the ground. I mean, it's just quite baffling, but sadly that's the way of the world.
you started seeing improvement through lockdown, and then you saw the masks come in, and then that was, I don't know, it's very up and down. Like, you start to feel like things are improving, and then you go through like times where it's like, maybe we're not getting as far as we thought. Why people don't get reusable?
I know.
I just don't get it.
I know, it makes me really sad.
Yeah. And it's litter that we never sort of foresaw, because obviously we didn't see a pandemic coming. We've been dealing with this sort of litter for years. And then, wait, there's a whole other bunch
It's a
of
whole
litter
new type of litter,
that we hadn't even thought about.
I think the bigger problem we've had with the pandemic is because we haven't been able to get out as a group and do organised events, it's built up. So there's just so much rubbish that you would have seen, today. But having said that, we were here in September, so what's that, 7 months? Horrendous. But what it does show, I would say, is you can make a difference. As an individual, it would take you a long time to actually do that. But getting involved with groups, people coming together. We had 40 volunteers here today, 2 hours, and they blitzed it. Absolutely cleared a phenomenal amount.
But there's only so much volunteer groups such as Keep Grangetown Tidy and Cardiff Rivers Group can do or want to do.
I mean, ultimately, I'd like all the groups to be redundant, really, and not needed, or use that community spirit to do other things. So perhaps improve the local woodlands and stuff like that, rather than having to spend our time picking up litter.
Litter picking is not a sustainable solution for our growing plastic waste crisis. Instead, we need systemic change in the way we manufacture these products and in the way we use them.
We need more government action to reduce the waste at source. We're at the end of the life cycle of the products, picking up once it's been used and discarded. We need to tackle it right at the beginning, stop it being made in the first place.
But until then, Dave King and countless other volunteers will continue to clean the streets and rivers of Cardiff and pick up your wipes, your disposable gloves, and your face masks.